Hello and welcome back to another video on the Football Zone and to another weekend review, reviewing Premier League Championship and FA Cup action, starting off in the Premier League and with a crazy comeback on Friday night. It finished Wolves 2, Leeds 3. Wolves went 2-0 up in the first half with goals through Johnny and Trincano. However, it went from bad to worse for Wolves when in 53rd minute Raul Jimenez was sent off. I personally wasn't quite sure whether it's a red or not. I don't think it was. But yeah, it certainly cost them, with goals from Harrison, Rodrigo and Luke Ayling seeing a win for Leeds, and what a huge win for them. Big ramifications at both ends of the table. Moving on then to Saturday's game, and it finished Aston Villa 0, Arsenal 1 at Villa Park. Bukayo Saka with the only goal of the game in the 30th minute. And yeah, Arsenal, for me, probably deserving of this victory. And yeah, after the slip up against Liverpool, or maybe Liverpool just outclassed them, it was a big game for them to get a reaction. They definitely did that. And yeah, they're now in like a pretty good position, really, to get into the top four, aren't they? But Tottenham's still breathing down their necks. But yeah, still a great result for them. Moving on then to Sunday's Premier League games, and it finished Leicester 2, Brentford 1 at the King Power Stadium. Castagna and Madison with the goals in the first half, and Brentford pulled one back late on through Visa. However, it proved just to be a consolation goal. And yeah, to be honest, I'd probably say from this game, Brentford were worthy of at least a point. But you know, Leicester held on. Was a solid victory for them. They'll be pleased, and yeah, they can move on with their season, getting into the top half now and still in Europe. But for Brentford, disappointing. But you know, they've got a couple of crucial wins recently. But moving on then to Tottenham 3, West Ham 1. Kurt Zouma with an own goal in the 9th minute gave Tottenham the lead, and then Son Heung-mon gave Tottenham another goal in the 24th minute. And then Ben Rama in the 35th minute pulled one back, but Son again in the 88th minute gave Tottenham the 3-1 win. And yeah, good win for Tottenham, up into 5th place, and yeah, just keeps the pressure on Arsenal, doesn't it really? So they'll be very pleased with that. Good win for them. For West Ham, though, it is frustrating. They are kind of falling away. Moving on into the Championship and starting off on Saturday lunchtime with Derby 1, Coventry 1. Coventry took the lead in the 28th minute through Matty Gooden, but Tom Lawrence in the 66th minute levelled it up, and Derby pushed for the equaliser, had a great chance towards death, but couldn't get it, and in the end, I'd probably say a draw was a fair result. But you know, with Peterborough running, Derby now bottom of the table, and yeah, 8 points behind Reading, and they've played a game more. It is looking incredibly tough for Derby to stay up. But for Coventry, yeah, they're looking hard for them to get the past two. Moving on then to Sheffield United 2, Barnsley 0 at Bramall Lane. And yeah, goals from Sander Berge and Morgan Gibbs-White for Sheffield United. And yeah, good win for them. Listen back into the playoffs after a few games recently where they have been a bit shaky. But for Barnsley, shame not to follow up the win in the week. But you know, this was always going to be a hard game. But yeah, the kind of impact has been doubled by Reading getting the win, which obviously would have been very frustrating for them, really. Bristol City 2, West Brom 2 was the score at Ashton Gate on Saturday in the Championship. Naki Wells gave Bristol City a lead in the 29th minute before Carlin Grant equalised in the 68th minute. Vyman put Bristol ahead with 5 minutes to go. However, a stoppage time equaliser from Reach in the 93rd minute equalised for West Bromwich. And yeah, for West Brom, another late equaliser, another point. I mean, yeah, they're definitely showing signs of progress. I mean, it's too late for a playoff charge realistically, but you know, shows the progress. Bristol City, I think they'll be satisfied. Moving on then to Huddersfield 0, Bournemouth 3 at the John Smith Stadium. And yeah, this was a dominant performance from Bournemouth. Anthony Lerma and Solanke with the goals, and really gets them back on track. A solid result for them. But for Huddersfield, yeah, their form really is starting to become a bit of a concern now, and yeah, there is a chance they could start falling out of the playoffs unless they improve rapidly, because it has gone downhill. Automatics are long gone now, obviously, but yeah, they really do need to focus on maintaining their playoff spot. Moving on then to Hull 1, Luton 3 at the KCOM Stadium. Adebayo, Cornick and Bree gave Luton a 3-0 lead. However, a late goal from stoppage time, Tommy's consolation goal, gave Hull a goal but not any points. And Luton now at the third. Just an incredible story. They're absolutely flying along at the moment. Like Huddersfield, it's probably too late for an automatic promotion push, but you never know with the form they're in. For Hull though, disappointing performance. I think this is always going to be a bit of a free hit for them, but you know, still pretty disappointing performance all things considered. Reading got a crucial win at home to Blackburn in a 1-0 win. Josh Laurent with the only goal of the game in the 78th minute, and it was a really good goal as well. But Blackburn, yeah, you'd probably say they dominated majority of the game, but in the end they didn't create much. And Reading actually had more shots than goal, despite Blackburn having significantly more total shots and more possession. So yeah, Blackburn will be very frustrating. And like Huddersfield, it's starting to become tough for them to really maintain their playoff spot at the moment. So they definitely do need to pick up really. Stoke 2, Millwall 0 was the score at the Bet365 Stadium. Brown and Saville were the goals for Stoke, a Sutherland goal, obviously, and Jeb Wallace in the 76th minute missed a penalty to make things even worse for Millwall. But for Stoke, a good victory after a really poor run of form, so hopefully they can take confidence on it and build on it. For Millwall, though, it's a loss which they probably didn't see coming, and it probably is going to all but end their playoff hopes, really, because they need to go on a good run, especially with the amount of teams around them, really. But moving on then to Swansea 0 at Birmingham 0 at the Liberty Stadium, and wasn't a lot to say about this game really. It's just two lower mid-table teams who aren't fighting for the playoffs, who aren't fighting for relegation, who aren't fighting for anything really, just going at it. Once again, it's a typical Swansea game. They have most of the possession, but yeah, if you'd say a team that created more chances, you'd probably say Birmingham did, so maybe they'll feel hard done by, but in the end a 0-0 kind of just suited this game in a position where all of these teams are. Moving on then to a surprise result on Sunday, QPR 1, Peterborough 3. Amos in the 90th minute gave QPR the lead, and you thought it would be comfortable there for QPR, but it turned out it's not to be the case, because 2 goals from Johnson Clark-Harris and a goal from Jack Marriott sealed a really impressive 3-1 win for Peterborough. For QPR now, outside the playoffs, and their playoff chances really are looking quite tough at the moment after that result. But for Peterborough though, I mean, it brings them within 7 points of Reading. They do need to be more consistent to have a chance, but they definitely are improving a lot under Grant McCann. Moving on then to the 4 FA Cup quarter-final games, starting off on Friday night with all the controversy surrounding this one, on Saturday night, with all the controversy surrounding this one, it finished Middlesbrough 0, Chelsea 2, comfortable win for Chelsea really, 2 early goals, 1 from Lukaku, 1 from Ziyech, and Chelsea, as you'd expect, dominated the game. Good win for Chelsea. They advanced to the semi-final to Wembley. For Borough, it was always going to be a tough game, and realistically their focus is always on the league and trying to get into the playoffs. It's not particularly a surprise, this one, but good win for Chelsea. Moving on then to Sunday's FA Cup games, and we have 3 of them. Crystal Palace 4, Everton 0 was the score. Gurhi, Matata, Zaha and Hughes were the goals. And I think this kind of was the case of what I said earlier. Palace, they only really have this to concentrate on, while Everton still do have the league, etc., to focus on, and just staying up in general. And it kind of proved to be the case here. A really, really good win for Palace. They'll be delighted with that off to Wembley, and it does show the progress that Vieira is making. Southampton 1, Manchester City 4 was the score at St Mary's, on a dominant win for Manchester City as they advanced to Wembley. Sterling with a goal in the 12th minute, and Laporta equalised just before half time with an own goal. But De Bruyne, Foden and Mahrez in the second half ensured City had a comfortable path to Wembley, and they'll be pleased with that. They want to win this cup after getting knocked out of the last one. For Southampton, they gave it a go. This is all they had to really play for. Gave it a go, but in the end it wasn't enough. And it's against Man City, so it's always going to be tough for them really. Forest 0, Liverpool 1 was the score on Sunday in the FA Cup, and for Liverpool they advanced through. Wasn't their best ever performance, really. It took until 78 minutes for Jota to find a deadlock. There was some doubts over whether it was offside or not. From one camera angle I definitely thought it was offside, and then maybe Forest should have had a penalty, maybe not. I'm kind of 50-50. So Liverpool wasn't their best performance, but the main thing is they're through. For Forest, they'll feel very hard done by, because they did play really well here, but it does allow them to concentrate on the league at least. But anyway guys, that's the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, any thoughts, comments, dump in. If you're on Twitter, links to me for daily football news, and subscribe to our channel to screen right now. I greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace!